So, hello. Hi, everyone. Oh, so beautiful. Hello from California. It's really wonderful to be with you in this amazing new day and at the Pranic World Fest. Just to be sure that I have the translators and we're ready to begin, right? Yeah? Okay. Perfect, because I cannot see everyone. So that's all right. We will feel each other, and I can also feel the excitement and the presence of all of you beautiful people there. So, yes, so wonderful to be back here with you for my third time in the Pranic World Festival. It is amazing to see how every year this movement is growing and there are more speakers and more participants at this really life-changing and mind-expanding event. And so for me, it is really exciting and such an honor to be a part of this fantastic movement, this wonderful group. Yes, as some of you may know, and many of you maybe not, my name is Camila Castillo. I am the creator of the Pranic Woman program, and I have been living in the Breatharian state since 2008. During this time, I have lived many phases of pranic living, and I have been able to transit this lifestyle from many different perspectives. And in that, I have discovered the profound freedom and flexibility that breatharianism offers to me and also the people around me. I have had the privilege to travel all over the world to share the tools and techniques of breatharianism that I have learned and cultivated through profound self-study over the past decade, through my own healing process and transition into breatharianism. And yes, techniques and tools that have been scientifically and time-tested with hundreds of people around the world. So, yes, breatharianism, pranic living is something that is undoubtedly changing the course of humanity and the trajectory of our world. And this is a powerful, powerful place to be in this moment, to be understanding these possibilities and awakening them within ourselves. We are so much more powerful than we ever realized. And so that is what pranic living is all about. I'm sure that you are, as there are so many speakers and people who are living the pranic state from many different perspectives, that's what you are receiving in these days, so much information and different ways of presenting this and embodying it and living it within ourselves, and then in the way that we share this with the world. And so today, in my chat with you, I will, of course, share from my own perspective as a woman, as a breatharian mother, and yes, someone who is passionate about pranic living, because I have lived and continue to see the profound benefits of this lifestyle. And so, yes, I would like to kind of explain to you what I feel breatharianism means, what breatharianism means to me, and how that manifests in our lives. Breatharianism is a state of being. It is a natural step in our own conscious evolution. And at the same time, it is really just our natural state. In oftentimes society, we become so separate from our true essence and who we truly are because of many influences. And pranic living is really the path to coming back to yourself, to connecting with that true creative essence, that real creative power, that God source that is existing and co-creating within and through each one of us, every moment, every breath. And so, you know, the time recognized masters like Buddha and Jesus, these are beings who also showed us this possibility through periods of extended or intermittent fasting, connecting with nature's powerful elemental energy, recognizing that we are also carriers of the elements. We are an alchemy of earth, wind, water, fire, and that the breath of life is actually what is sustaining us. And so these, you know, masters were kind of also, because we have scriptures and we have text, they give us a reference of just really how far back pranic living and what we call breatharianism now spans back through our humanity. We also can see, if we recognize, you know, as people who are maybe on a more spiritual path or a path of self-study and self-excellence, we oftentimes see ourselves reflected in those masters or in those beings who were able to leave such a profound imprint on humanity. And so their influence also helps to give us more confidence and to keep that intelligence and that wisdom alive. If we go to the root of the word, breatharianism or breatharian is just the combination of breath and air. So really showing us that the essence of this lifestyle, of this state, is rooted in the connection to the breath, in the consciousness or the awareness of that profound yet mechanized practice that we utilize without even thinking. So, you know, we are all the time breathing, but maybe in the way that, you know, the society or the education has gone, we have really let go of that sort of education and cultivation in our cultures of, you know, teaching our young ones, yes, you are powerful because in you exists the breath of life, the breath of God, the breath that is sustaining your every action, your every thought, your every creation. And so pranic living then also incorporates the word prana. So of course, many of you know that prana is the Sanskrit word for creation, for the life source. And so pranic living is all about being in connection with that life source and being co-creators with that source, using it to our advantage, recognizing that true nourishment is actually in every experience, in every interaction, in our every thought. And we are the conscious creators of our lives. And so this is really, you know, the essence of pranic living, breatharianism. And as we can see, we are not the first people to discover this. I think that each being who recognizes that you are not just a human having this experience as a human, but, you know, going beyond and recognizing that you are also a soul, that you have a powerful spirit, that you came here with an amazing intention to explore life and to discover true happiness, we all in some way are connected in this path of pranic living. So how maybe know, if pranic living is for you, or if you want to be a breatharian? You would know this by absolutely being positive that you are ready to heal, because along with, stepping into these possibilities of sustaining ourselves from the conscious breath and the energy that we receive through it, comes the healing and the detoxification of many layers in our being. So physically, yes, when we connect with the breath, we decipher many things on a physical level, in our mind, in our emotions, and in our soul. We are actually able to create a continuity through each of these aspects of ourselves. And so with that comes the healing. We come to face many things that we no longer need, that no longer serve our highest good. And we have the possibility to let all of that go. And so if you are ready to heal, then yes, pranic living is for you. But to heal not just in a superficial way, to heal from the root of your generation, to heal and reprogram on a cellular level in a way that actually creates positive and lasting change. If you have been in touch with your capacity to be the conscious creator of your life experiences, then pranic living is for you. Because in this state, we are in direct contact and, co-creation with the universal laws. And so our ability to, think and manifest is like this, because we don't have a lot of blockages in our communication with the universe. And we also understand, just how delicate, just how fragile our, how great actually our creative power is. And so how carefully we can use that, how consciously we can use that. We are able to use that ability to ask and receive and to create and to interact and to cultivate in a very present, in a very almost immediate way. And so, if you are ready to put all of those abilities into practice, if you are ready to be that conscious creator and build the life that you love and manifest and embody a life that you feel just so vibrant and ecstatic about, then you are in the right path. And also, if you are ready to let go of any fear, you're ready to let go of, the control that maybe fear can have in our lives, and replace that fear with love, which is a really big step. It sounds maybe a little bit cliche or a little bit, I don't know, maybe simple even, but it is a big one, because they are the contrast, fear and love. Love is the creator, the expansive energy of the universe. And, fear confines and kind of diminishes. So when we are ready to step out of the victim state, when we are ready to really embrace that our creations are only as powerful as the love that exists within us, then that's also another beautiful indicator that you are ready. When you are absolutely ready to take on that role, when you're ready to heal, when you are ready to decipher your mind, your emotions, your soul, and adapt your physical body to this high vibrational state, then yes, all of this you will encounter in the pranic living state. And I don't say that because I read it somewhere or because I studied it somewhere. I say that because I absolutely have lived that transformation, and I live that now. So in my exploration of pranic living and the personal healing that I have had, I have come to find sort of my passion and maybe mission in sharing breatharianism and the possibility of pranic living in the world, by focusing more on the feminine side of the development. So for many of you, maybe this is our first encounter. I also have a husband, Akai, and we have two beautiful children together. And so I have had this very unique possibility to make my transformation with into breatharianism with my counterpart, with that person who I spend my life with, and in that process along the way, also become a mother, and then again become a mother. And in all of those transformations, discover what it means as a woman and as a mother to lead a family in this lifestyle, to take care of the next generation through this lifestyle, to put into practice really in very practical ways, going beyond any theory, and really just finding the actual tools, the ways that this breath, this prana, this consciousness, when applied, can manifest in our lives and bring these profound benefits that we're talking about. Personally, in my own transformation, I did heal from a lot of generational information, information of, pain and suffering that was just passed on because, maybe my ancestors, or because of the time, or the society didn't have the tools maybe to overcome in the way that many of us experience. So as a woman, I understood that kind of pain and heaviness that, the generations had subconsciously passed along manifested in my womb and in my reproductive system. And I understood this from a really young age, but I didn't know, how to address that. I didn't understand, okay, well, maybe this is related, the kind of heaviness and pain that I feel in my womb. But how do I get to that? How do I even reach that and heal that? And so that took me, that intention of healing myself and of, really preparing myself in a beautiful way to become a mother, and to really not want to pass along unnecessary information of, suffering or pain to my children and to their children. I was ready to just cut the chain. Yeah. And so that's how actually my sort of, we could say, stumbled upon pranic living. I didn't reach this point because I was looking to stop eating, or because I was even interested in the fasting part of breatharianism, or I didn't really understand or focus on that until later it started to naturally manifest in my life. I came to breatharianism, and breatharianism came to me because I was ready to heal. because I was searching for the most profound way. I was done with the Western and allopathic medicine and the lack of options or tools. I was also coming to an end with the possibility of natural medicine and herbs and exercise, and I was trying everything possible to kind of clear myself of this heaviness of what was for me like PMS, or really painful periods. So when I was at that point, and I felt like, wow, I've tried everything. What is there left to try, That's when I literally just encountered this possibility. And it was, for me, a process to understand, all of these outcomes and what would even come of it if I were to make this transformation and to go about the initiation into Breatharianism. But for me, it felt like a very right and natural step to be in a state in which we are not necessarily coping or covering up our emotions through habitual acts, such as eating or other forms of stimulation, but we are in a state of just stillness, a state in which initially our body is able to expulse a lot of things that no longer serve it. So physically detoxify and release a lot of residue of years and years of built up information within the system. In the mind, we also begin to decipher our thoughts and recognize what thought processes are just habitual, that we've become so accustomed to repeating over and over. And, what are our actual creative thoughts? What is our mind telling us? Not just from what we've read or the education we've received or the, programming that we've received from our families. And so this is another layer of the purification. In the emotional level, we also are able to really, again, decipher, what are emotional states that I've become so accustomed to feeling, whether it be, it can be any array of things. We can become accustomed to being sad or angry or in a state of, total just like, what's the word? Well, I could just say upset. And, in the same way that we can train ourselves to be happy and to be just naturally joyous and to feel love and to be connected with that inner source of love. And on a soul level, remember who we really are and what we came to embody and naturally be in the world. Okay, so where were we? So, okay. Are you ready? Great. So we were talking about a little bit of my own transformation into pranic living, and we were in the soul level of that. So yes, as I was saying, through this sort of transition and initiation into pranic living, I've had the opportunity to very much discover what breatharianism means for me as a woman, and in the different roles and responsibilities that I complete in my life, that I, show up to who I am in this world as a mother, as a wife, and just in general as a woman. So this is why I have sort of found this unique place in pranic living, because I do feel that we have, as we know, we all have within us the masculine and the feminine energy. But yeah, there are, men and women. And so as a woman and through the things that I have healed and connected with, I have sort of chosen to focus the tools that I utilize and now teach in more of the female population, because I recognize that we have a different way of experiencing purification and detoxification, that many times in our encounter or in our transition into breatharianism, we experience a lot of changes in our reproductive health. And I know this because I have lived that personally, and I have also seen it in hundreds of women who have, taken this step into breatharianism. And so I know that we experience many similar things too. Men and women, we experience a lot of the dietary changes are very similar for us. A lot of the emotional shifts and mental shifts are also very similar for us. But yeah, in the way that we connect to our bodies and to our creative energy can be different. And at the same time, very much the same. So when, what makes it unique? What does the sort of female body experience in that's different from the male body? I would say that when we are in that initial kind of level of purification and detoxification, we do experience a lot of release from the womb. We can experience maybe cramping, we can experience bleeding, and all of this comes and fits into the kind of category of the generational healing. We are all aware that within our bodies exist many different energy centers. We have our meridians and we also have our chakras. And so if we were to look at the body in terms of those energy centers, we can see that much of our creative power is mirrored or manifested even into our second chakra. So this is for male and female. Our second chakra, also called our Sacral Chakra, but this space that really encompasses our reproductive system. And so, we can also see, because, for example, as women, we have the capacity to form life inside of that space. Men also have the capacity to be the creators of that life, and so in the union of that creative energy is where we experience the true manifestation of the prana and of the real miracle of our life creating energy. That is in a really physical way. That is like the human experience of procreation. But when we internalize that, and we each sort of recognize that within us exists this life-creating energy, like a serum. We ovulate as women, men create semen, and this is showing us that also our sexual energy is directly related to our creative power, to our conscious ability to create not only physical life, but to also utilize that as internal nourishment, to not necessarily expend it outward, but to bring that inside of us, to take advantage of that cyclical process, of that natural process of creativity and inspiration and conscious manifestation, of health and vitality and rejuvenation. All of that is sort of kind of centered right there in the sacral chakra. And so this is why I have found a sort of relationship between pranic living and how the sacral breath, or the consciousness of our ability to breathe from this space and to create life from this space, how that is really directly related to how we sustain ourselves as breatharians, as people who are in this pranic living path. And so there are many ways that we can sort of cultivate this energy and bring it more into practice, utilize it more. But I would say that definitely two of the foundations are movement. So the possibility to release and also activate that space between our hips, that is, if we look at our bodies, is really the center point of our body. So it's like the space and the point that gives us balance. So through movement, to find that natural balance, to naturally inhabit our body, and then combined with the breath, create a powerful and uninhibited flow of information and energy throughout our body. This is sort of the foundation of what I have discovered in myself as a woman exploring breatharianism, and what I teach in my courses and workshops around the world. So this then brings me to another point of how our of understanding where our true nourishment comes from. So we are, in this path exploring many different parameters and kind of pushing the limits of our human capacity and what we have told is possible. And so breatharianism has been very directly related with the possibility to let go of all hunger. So yes, breatharianism has been related to and associated with this possibility to let go of hunger. Hunger in a mental level, of the mind always wanting more and always searching more and always needing more information and stimulation and logic. Hunger of the emotions, of maybe never feeling good enough or always feeling like we're lacking something to be complete. Hunger of the physical body, which those mental and emotional necessities then create habit for the physical body to kind of cover up those emotions and look for a way to give ourselves that external something that we were supposedly missing or lacking. But because going back, we have understood what the profound benefits of breatharianism are. Remember, we very profoundly in this exploration, we get to decipher our hunger, and we get to let it go and release it and understand that we are actually complete and perfect exactly how we are. That we don't actually need anything outside of us to make us complete. And through this realization, we oftentimes let go of that habitual act of, eating in a way that is insatiable. And so we also come to understand that true nourishment is in everything that brings us joy, right? So, any smile, any simple interaction that, makes your heart alive and open, those are experiences of profound nourishment, where you're not, just like satisfying your stomach, but you're satisfying your heart, your soul, your essence. But I'd kind of like to go back and maybe give an example of when and how our hunger begins. Maybe it goes actually as far back as our conception or our time in the womb and the awareness of our mother. Was our mother in tune with this capacity to be nourished from her surroundings and from the conscious breath, the prana? In most cases, it's not necessarily the case. So then we are born, and as babies, we don't have that capacity to use our words and to let people know what our emotions are and what we need. And so babies cry. And when a baby cries, what is the first reaction of the people around it? So like maybe they'll check the diaper's clean and the baby's still crying. Then the next thing is the baby's hungry, so we have to put something in the baby's mouth to get it to stop crying. And, maybe that is the breast, or maybe it's a bottle or a pacifier. But right there, we are forming a habit of covering up our emotions by putting something in our mouth. Instead of being able to, express it and just get it out and release it, we are learning that we should keep that in. We should hold that inside, and we should just be quiet and calm and not make a scene. And so, this is a very profound message to send to a baby who most of the time just wants love and attention and to be played with or, cuddled. And so as that child grows and gets bigger, this habit has already been formed. And the food becomes a mechanism to cope. It becomes more than a physical necessity. It becomes a sort of emotional necessity. And that's not to say that actually food and good physical nourishment isn't important for children, because it absolutely is. Body, needs to be also nourished from all of the sources. But there is a very, easy and gentle way to teach a child that, well, yes, it's good that you nourish your physical body and you learn what are the best and the healthiest elements to eat and to put into our bodies. That's not your only source of nourishment. And that actually the way that you receive that nourishment is just as important as the nourishment itself. So this kind of goes into the next step of how we influence into our life and our sources of nourishment, and we actually are nourished by that which we give. So it also goes back to the laws of the universe, in creating and manifesting and utilizing them at will. When we are aware that the joy is the foundation of everything, that there is joy and love, there's no greater nourishment than that. Because, and I have seen so many times, people who have maybe put too much importance in the physical diet, or too much focus on being vegetarian or being vegan or being fruitarian or liquidarian. And so they're focusing on the green juices and the superfoods and the best blender and all of those tools to, we maybe are enjoying the highest quality physical nourishment, but maybe the mind is not creating the highest quality of thoughts. And then in turn, the emotions are also giving us a low quality of sensations, bringing us into the low. So actually, the only thing that is maybe a little bit in the positive is that superfood. And so here we have the possibility to polarize all of that, to understand that actually it is the energy with which you do the things that you nourish yourself. And so it is in the very seemingly small changes that we make in our life that we connect with the path of pranic living. And we understand that through our emotions, our interactions, our words, we are nourishing ourselves all of the time. And we have the possibility to decide how we want to do that. Do we want to nourish ourselves with the highest quality thoughts, the most energized physical state, the best emotions that bring us joy, that fill us with love? Or do we want to be on the other side of the spectrum? Because it all comes down to what we want to create. Because we are absolutely in control and we have total power of the direction of our lives when we step out of the victim mentality and we do accept that we are the conscious creators of our life experiences. So yeah, we have shared a lot, and I would like to maybe ask you if you have maybe some questions of anything that I've talked about to this moment, and then I can see how we continue our chat and go into some practice as well. So yeah, maybe anybody has a question, or if not, that's also totally fine. Hi, beautiful. Wonderful.
Камила, ты много говоришь о том, что общаешься с детьми, приходят новые дети на Землю, и мне очень интересно узнать твой опыт, когда к тебе пришли твои дети, там за год они пришли, за 2, как ты это чувствовала? Вот поделись, пожалуйста.
You was talking about children and new generation is coming now, and for me is very interesting how did your children come to you when maybe you feel 1 year before, maybe 2 years before, how your children came to your life.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I always felt that I wanted to be a mother. I think that it was maybe what I most wanted. And so I knew from a young age that I would be a mother, and I could feel also, yeah, I think that I always felt that there were these souls accompanying me and also preparing themselves as I was preparing to be with me. But yeah, when I wanted to prepare myself and I wanted to feel ready in all aspects of my life. I don't know if you can actually really prepare in all aspects of your life to become a parent, but you can try. Uh, but I had, as I mentioned, when I did my transition into Breatharianism, it was in 2008. And I was stepping into that possibility because I wanted to heal my womb and my generational information. And so I did that 100%. I healed in a very profound way, uh, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I was able to really find myself. And so then I felt ready. I felt like, okay, yeah, I can do this. And yeah, with my husband Akai, um, we have been together 13 years, and so this was a long time ago now. But we both were in that process. We sat down and we had this sort of meeting of souls in which together we decided, yeah, we would love to be parents together, and we're ready to do that now. And so we prayed together, we joined hands, and in that time we lived in the mountains in Ecuador in a beautiful nature. And so we were like surrounded by the really sacredness of life, and we communicated with our son. We said, we're ready for you now, we have prepared for you, and we feel like we're ready to receive you with all of our love. And so whenever you're ready, come, you're welcome. and and yeah, it was almost immediate.
А,
Hi.
Hey, my question, you had said earlier about ways to facilitate when we're parents, for children, to teach them with easy way to, different ways of feeding while they still also eat vegetables or other things. And how do you do that? I have 2 kids and I'm sort of wobbling with it.
The
So,
balance.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, it's so my sort of philosophy, or the kind of my life and what I do with my life is my responsibility. And so um also a huge part of my responsibility is to take care of my children in the best of my ability. So I have also learned a lot in this path, um, with my first child, I felt like still it would be best if he was like only having raw foods and just fruits and veggies, maybe some soup, when he was like a baby and just starting to discover flavors and food. But as he grew, he began to show, what he really likes and what is most attractive for him. And so I was able to also expand my understanding of, oh yeah, the true nourishment comes from all sources. So if my children have a certain way that they like to eat, or they like to eat different things that maybe don't fall into the category of just fruits and vegetables, that's also fine. And so I learned too that it is important for a child to explore the diversity of foods and physical nourishment, and through that act, recognize that they also have the possibility to infuse that food with their love. And so to really create like a super potent meal for themselves. Um, so in my case with my children, I prepare their food every day, fresh at home, and they eat all sorts of things. Naturally, they don't really like meat, so that's great. Um, but I like to give them what they like, so that they can also discover the joy of eating. Um, I will never force my child to finish all the food on their plate, or to eat when they're not hungry. So I provide the possibilities and the options, but they are who choose. Okay, I want to eat something now, or okay, I feel satisfied, I've had enough, that's good. It doesn't matter to me if the plate is empty or if the plate is still full. Um, my role is to teach them to listen to their bodies, to give them the freedom to understand who they really are, and in that discover what they like, what they don't like, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, but for them to make those choices themselves, not just for me to tell them, this is how it is, this is what's the best, because what's best for me maybe isn't best for them. But then there is other, aspects to this education. There is the freedom to explore the food in the abundance, and to know that we have everything, I can choose whatever I want. So with that relationship, they explore the freedom, they get to know their bodies, and they get to discover that the self-love and connection with themselves is the most powerful. And then comes the other side of the more kind of mental and emotional aspect, also the spiritual side of a child, because these beings are so powerful. They already know. And the less we interfere with them, the easier it is for them to continue remembering who they really are. And so, my children have traveled a lot. They have been all over the world. They also live in Ecuador and in America. And so they have this kind of maybe world vision. With that also comes the sort of freedom to not have to fit into any sort of cultural confine, maybe. And so in that way, they also have a lot of time to explore. In our family, we play a lot with the breath. And so, just as we teach the possibilities of conscious breath to the people in the world, we also teach those tools and those practices to our kids. And they have, a wonderful time energizing themselves with the breath. We have taught them from very young age how to just different kind of breathing techniques to energize themselves, to calm their emotions, to, if they're in a moment of upset, to just come back to your breath, And so we have always laid the foundation that they should be in remembrance and in connection with the breath, because in the breath, they will always be in themselves, they will always be in control, they will be present. And so it's much in the same way that we as adults explore this. It's just giving that education from an early age so that they don't have to, kind of like, as many of us do, have to search and kind of come back to what we always knew. They can just be that always. We also use a lot of affirmations. So consciously training their minds to focus in the positive. Every morning we say affirmations, and it's really fun because as they get older, they discover what they like and what kinds of things they like and what feelings they like, and their affirmations become more creative and more empowering. And so, we are constantly reminding them of the power of their intention, to set an intention for their day, to remember that they are leaders, to remember that they are loved, that they are supported. One of my daughter's favorite affirmations is, I am flexible. So, they're creative, but these are like tools that we as adults utilize, and we have taught them those tools and ways of being just through who we are, but also by directly teaching them and why these things are good for their lives. So those are some of the ways that, in my family, we do encourage a conscious upbringing, encouraging our children to discover their talents and their passions and what makes them feel good, and to let them know that that is the true nourishment and success in their life. That if they maintain always in the high vibe, in the positivity, focused on the best, then that is where their life will always lead them. And with children, they're still learning to kind of like control their emotions and so we have also the possibility to see the spectrum, that maybe in one moment they're like so upset about something, and then we can use these tools to say, okay, just breathe, what's going on, and take a little process so that they can come out of that. But the resilience that a child will show you is actually amazing. How you can go from extreme sadness to extreme happiness. And so at the same, yes, I teach them and educate them, but they also teach me so much. And so I would say that we all help each other to stay in this path of pranic living that is really just rooted in love and in the true nourishment that is the joy. Yeah, so fun. It's so good to be here with you all. Yeah, do you have maybe any more questions about anything that we've talked about so far? Otherwise, I would love to share a short breathing session with you if you would like that. Okay, very good. Cool. Perfect. And afterwards, if you have more questions, we can chat about that. But yeah, I think that you are probably also receiving a lot of theory, a lot of information. So maybe some practice is also good. Okay. So yeah, I will share a session with you that, as I've been telling you, I feel that a profound focus and space where we can cultivate this pranic energy and this nourishing energy in our bodies is within the sacral chakra. So I'm going to share a session with you that is about cultivating that energy and connecting with the breath and learning to be the creator of your own life source energy. Actually, this is a session that was kind of developed when I was pregnant with my first child. And, many times when a woman is pregnant, she starts to feel like depleted, or her energy gets less because she feels like the baby is actually taking from her own energy. But I didn't want to feel that, and I wanted to feel energized and good and enjoy my pregnancy. And so I discovered and played with the possibility to breathe into my womb space and to bring this pranic energy into that space and activate that there, so that actually we would have that source of energy giving the baby energy, and then I also, maintaining my own energy and strength. And yeah, I benefited greatly from this session. Maybe some of you know that I didn't eat during my pregnancy. And so I think, definitely attribute a lot of that possibility to this breathing session and this sort of technique that I used during that time. I will share it with you in a more gentle way, in more of a meditative session. And yeah, see how you feel, okay? So I'd love to invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. So that we can breathe together and connect with this amazing and powerful source of energy that you have inside of yourself. We will begin this breathing session now. Breathe. Simply inhale and exhale in the way that feels most comfortable and most natural for you. Inhaling deeply, expanding your chest and your lungs. And exhaling freely, letting go of any tension and centering yourself as you synchronize with the natural rhythm of your breath. And you can inhale through your nose and opening your throat through your mouth. And as you breathe, you can begin to focus on the characteristics of the air. Just noticing first the smooth and soft texture of the air you're breathing. And you notice the weight of the air and the space that it occupies within you. And you observe the gentle humidity of this air, a soft and subtle moisture within the air that you breathe. With every breath, humidifying your lungs, your entire body. And you observe now this air as light, noticing that within the air you breathe, there exist thousands of tiny particles of light. And you inhale that light and bring it into your body, allowing it to activate your own inner light. And as you continue to breathe at your own perfect rhythm, you open now your body to receive the air in a new space. And so, simply with your intention, you begin to drop that air, light, down beyond your lungs and into the space of your sacral chakra. So bring this light, these thousands of tiny golden particles of light into the space between your hips. You don't need to force yourself physically, just send this air here through your simple intention. And as you observe, as you bring this air into the space between your hips, you observe the light taking over your body. Swirling about in this creative center, entering into your womb for you women, and occupying this powerful center of source energy. For the man, you can observe this air entering into your testes and into your own reproductive organs. And just allow all of this space in your body to return to the light. And as you breathe to this space, you activate your own inner creative energy. And so that you can feel this more tangible and more present, you are going to begin to visualize that from your sacral chakra, from the space between your hips, this light becomes so potent and so expansive that it begins to create like a fountain that can no longer be held within this confined space. And so this fountain of light flows from your sacral chakra and begins to form all around you a self-sustaining sphere of luminous golden light. You continue to breathe naturally as you feel yourself enveloped in your own creative source. And this light becomes so powerful, this sphere so strong and stable, that you also begin to observe like dewdrops forming on the inside of that sphere. And those drops begin now to drip, drop onto your body, covering your skin with an elixir. And you open your mouth to taste this. Maybe you notice some saliva forming. Taste this and swallow it as you begin to consciously create your own nectar of life. And this nectar begins now to penetrate your skin, entering your body through all of the layers of your skin, your flesh, muscles, entering into your veins and your bloodstream. This luminous life source, nectar, enters into all of your organs and even into your bones. And you breathe deeply. Feeling how this energy is naturally purifying every space within your body, penetrating all of your organs, your muscles, your joints, your bones, with the most pure and unique source of energy that you have available to you. Nourish yourself as you take expansive breaths and feel your body illuminating from the inside out. And you let your body work in this natural state as you now bring your focus into your heart, into your emotions. And you let this luminous energy penetrate your emotions, your emotional state, purifying, letting go of anything that no longer serves your highest good and synchronizing you in the light of your own energy. And you breathe, bringing your focus now to your mind, observing your brain, your right and left hemispheres, being transformed now, covered and infiltrated by this unique life source energy. Purifying your thoughts, reaching the root of every thought process and illuminating, returning everything to clarity, to peace. And you observe your light body, your soul, your energy field. And you feel how this luminous golden sphere that envelops you has become a part of you. Your energy harmonizing, synchronizing with your natural vibration, your natural state of peace and health and happiness. And you observe now this sphere unifying, becoming like another layer of skin, a layer that serves as a natural filter for you to receive the best, only the best of what your life is offering you. And you observe once again this flow of energy that started it all. Here in the space between your hips, this energy flow of your own inner source has transformed your entire energy field. And this flow continues stronger than ever. And in this moment, you have the opportunity to channel this energy to any part of yourself that you feel to give some extra love and attention to. Any part of your physical body, any part of your mind or your emotions or your soul. Nourish yourself with your own most powerful, unique, and potent source of energy. Inhaling deeply and exhaling freely as you release, letting go of anything that no longer serves your highest good, and accepting this as your natural, empowered state. And breath by breath, you begin to focus on the light that you breathe, on those infinite particles that enter your body with every breath. And you notice again the humidity in the air you breathe. And you observe the weight of this air, this energy, the space that it occupies within you. And you feel its gentle texture caressing you as it enters your body and exits your body. And as you breathe and naturally return to your present and this beautiful moment that you have chosen for yourself, you bring with you the consciousness that you have it all within you, that it has always been within you, and it will always be here. This nourishing, creative, superpower energy that you create and multiply with every breath for your highest good. And as you continue to breathe, you gently and at your own time come back into this present, into this moment. When you feel to open your eyes, you can do so, to observe all of the beauty and the perfection that exists all around you. We are superhuman and super powerful. So you have to always remember you have all of this power within you. Feels so good, huh? How do you feel? Good. I'm so happy to have the real honor to be a part of your experience in pranic living, or any aspect of your life, however you like to call it. But in this of self-refinement and embracing the excellence that we are. Anyone like to share what they feel after that short and sweet session? Yeah, this is, just one of many possibilities, but this is a session to really come back to nature. I'm also feeling like that in this morning, so I felt to share this nice and soothing session with you. There are yeah.
I wanted to share. I felt very, very relaxed. I was yawning a lot. I was feeling that I'd get energized, but it was also very relaxing because your voice was very, very loving. It felt like a hug. So I want to say thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah, actually, that was I was going to say is that yeah, this was a very relaxing session to kind of ground and center. But I also teach other techniques that are like more active, more energizing, maybe more fast. So there is a whole spectrum of what we can explore and discover through the breath. We took very calm and focused rhythm, but we can accelerate the rhythm to also energize and awaken the senses. There are really many possibilities to what we can explore with the conscious breath. So actually, I want to make an invitation to all of you. You are immersed in this amazing encounter, and thanks to Nicolas, every year it is bigger. He is doing a fantastic job of creating this space of encounter, and I hope maybe next year I can go. No, my kids are a little bigger, and I think that may be a possibility. So I hope so. um, but thank you. Yes, it would be so good to be there in person with all of you, to give hugs and look to your eyes. Yeah, so beautiful. Um, but to extend a special invitation to you. Akai and I are creating a very powerful event that is coming up on June 8th. We have called it the Breatharian Challenge as a way for us to explore pranic living and go beyond our limitations and really embrace this powerful mastery that we can discover once we go beyond our fears and our belief systems. And so this is a 8-day Breatharian challenge, which will be happening on June 8th through 15th, and it is a live webinar event. So we have actually over 100 people from all over the world already signed up to participate. And so I want to invite you, if you feel called to maybe explore more of what I am teaching, or discover what the path and Akai and I unify forces, what tools and techniques we teach, because this is not just about the theory. There are tangible tools that we can sustain our life with, and so the Breatharian Challenge will absolutely take you to that state and give you all of those tools and techniques. And when you do sign up, we both have online courses that we have created through over the last years. Akai shares the Akai Method 8-day course in the form of a video course. There are like over 20 videos of instruction and courses and material that is super powerful. My course is 28 days. It is the Pranic Woman program, designed more specifically for women. But when you sign up for the Breatharian Challenge, you also get lifetime membership to both of our courses, plus Akai's book of Becoming the Light and powerful set of Breatharian meditations to have with you forever. So I want to extend that invitation. It's a really awesome and life-changing experience and packet that you will always have access to. So really, if you are searching, for or on this path, you want to delve deeper into breatharianism, you want to have the experiential practice of it, I think that, I know that you will find and receive exactly that. And so I can actually, the information is all on our website. If you would like to sign up and join us, you will see that and actually be super blown away that it's all of that for just $97. So it's like nothing. And we do that because we want we want this information to be accessible, and we want each person who experiences it to feel that they have the lasting support and tools to continue in this lifestyle, not just it to be one experience in your life and then you forget about it, but you have all of the time amazing tools to accompany your exploration of breatharianism and pranic living and your own life mastery. So if you want to join us, you can sign up on our website, and I know that you will absolutely love it. If for some reason you're not able to participate in the live webinar, every person who registers receives the replays of the live session, so you can also kind of because we are in California, we have participants all over the world. In Europe, there is a 9-hour time difference. So if the time difference is like a little bit uncomfortable, you will receive all of the replays to create a schedule that feels good for you. And you have also our support. You can, we can chat, respond to your questions, and yeah, you will be with a group over 100 people already, and there are more people signing up because the day is coming close. But yeah, it's a beautiful way to connect with the Pranic Living community, to share experiences, insights, and to really continue in this evolutionary step together with the support of an amazing group of ever-growing light beings around the world. So I want to invite you. Our website is breatharianschool.com. So you can just go there and find all the information, super easy to sign up. And yeah, we would love to have you join us. We'll be super honored to share so much with you. We will have 2 sessions every day. So there will be about 5 hours of instruction plus a sharing circle at the end of every day in which we answer all of your questions, or you have the opportunity to share insights or hear other people's insights. And so, yeah, it's very powerful to do this in such a large group, people all different walks of life and cultures and experiences, but unifying in this intention of higher consciousness and evolution and happiness. So yeah, welcome. We would love to receive you, give you the best of us. So I know now that our time is coming to a close, and I would love to just maybe give one more opportunity for any questions. But in the meantime, I will just thank you for your time and for receiving and welcoming here for you. All of this, over a decade of experience that I have been cultivating. And so I'm so happy to have this opportunity to be with you. I thank you very much, and I wish you a fantastic time with the rest of the festival, and all the biggest hugs for all of you and all of the wonderful speakers who are there to share their wisdom and their knowledge. It's a beautiful thing when we see this as a community, that this is really growing and this is becoming so powerful in the world. So yeah, thank you all for being a part of it, and I send my biggest love and hugs and besitos.
Un besito a ti también.
Bye, Nicolas. Bye, everyone. Enjoy so much. Thank you.